Thank you for joining us. And Martin, good morning.
Morning, yeah.
What do you think of the wicket itself, Martin?
I like the wicket. I think it's nice and firm. It looks as though a little bit of moisture perhaps underneath. So, you know, there could be a little bit early on for the seamers. But I think it'll be a good batting wicket as the test wears on.
Martin, it's interesting that you have brought in just a seam attack and left out the spinners on this type of wicket. Any particular reason for that?
Well, we are an inexperienced bowling side altogether. And, you know, we've gone for those that are in form. And there hasn't been a lot of form so far. But we've gone for the players that we feel are confident of showing good form in the test match.
Right now, Murphy Suva seems to have the best figures for the New Zealand team that's playing today. Of course, you've bowled the most number of overs for New Zealand so far on this tour, the side that's out here. What do you think of the young prospects? You've got 3 new boys in the side.
Yeah, we have. We've got 3 new boys who are talented. You know, they've come through the grades. But it's an exciting time for them for their first test, so they'll be quite nervous. Yeah, our bowling, as you say, is we rely on Murphy Suva. You won't see me bowling, I can assure you of that. But it's a great challenge for these youngsters to make a name for themselves.
The unfortunate incidents that took place outside your hotel last week, which led to the 4 boys going back home, has it really affected the team as a whole?
No, I think the boys that stayed behind felt that they were okay, that there was enough security and safety, and that they just wanted to play cricket, and they wanted to play against these Sri Lankan boys. So that's what they're here to do. They're here to play hard cricket. The guys that have come over obviously have got no worries, and we're confident that things will go well.
Martin, wish you and the New Zealand team all the success on this tour, and I'm sure the Sri Lankan cricket supporters are waiting to see the New Zealanders play on this tour. Thank you very much, Martin. And joining us now is Arjuna Ranatunga, the Sri Lankan captain. Good morning, Arjuna. And what are your impressions of the wicket and the outfield?
I think wicket looks good. Outfield is not perfect. I don't think we will get a perfect outfield, especially in the 2 days, even in 2 days. But I think both of us are keen to start as soon as possible. I think we are having a look at 10:45, and we might be able to start at about 11:15, 11:30 the latest.
Arjuna, coming back to the bowling attack itself, interesting that Jayananda Varnavira has been included in this attack, as New Zealand have left out their spinners totally. And what do you think Jayananda will do on this track?
I think Varnavira has been bowling pretty well last couple of years, and we have been picking him once to go to New Zealand, and now I think he's bowling the best at the moment. So I think it's fair by him to give a chance and see how he fares in the international matches. And in the other hand, I think the wickets will be very slow because of the rain. I don't think we will get a fairly decent tracks right throughout the series. So we were expecting more turn than seaming.
Also, are you happy with the inclusion of Gamini Wickramasinghe, the wicketkeeper specialist in this side?
Yes, we had a problem last 2-3 years we have been having this problem without playing the regular keeper. Now I think we have stick to the regular keeper because especially bowlers like Varnavira and Donna Arunasiri, we can't afford to miss any stumps and caught behind. Any top keeper might miss, but that's a gamble they take. So I think Gamini, even Devapriya, they have been keeping pretty well, and I think we picked Gamini mainly on experience, and he has played test cricket, and he has been with us for a long time.
Now, because of the strong rains Colombo has been experiencing in the past few weeks, most of the first division matches in club cricket were not being able to be completed. Now, has this really worried the batting form of all the top batsmen?
Yes, it is. I think most of the batsmen, they haven't got a proper batting turn. Starting from the top and till about number 7, we haven't had enough cricket. I think we can't give any excuses. I think we are very keen to get into the grounds and do best as possible. I think it's high time for us to start winning, and all the boys are very keen to start winning. So we are going really flat out to win the series and even the one-day series.
Thank you very much, Arjun, for joining us, and we wish you all the best in this tour against New Zealand.
A bright and sunny morning greeted the cricketers at Moratuwa. Umpires K.T. Francis and T.M. Samarasinghe starting off play 75 minutes late and 18 overs deducted. The Sri Lankan captain Arjuna Ranatunga, having won the toss, had no hesitation in sending New Zealand in, and Sri Lanka going into this match bringing in Gamini Wickramasinghe as wicketkeeper and utility bowler Jayananda Varnavira. Hashan Tilakaratne has been relieved of his duties behind the wickets. Veteran John Wright, a late replacement, and Blair Hartland, the 2 opening batsmen for New Zealand. Champak Ramanayaka, 27 years old, playing in his 14th test match, will be opening the attack with Dulip Lianage as they did against the Australians. New Zealand have 3 test caps in this game. That's Blair Hartland scoring the first run of the match. Gurusingha doing the fielding. Hartland playing in his 4th game. Lianage to Hartland. A loud appeal, disallowed by the umpire. Wrapped on the pad, but the ball drifting down the leg side. Ooh, Ramanayaka beat John Wright all ends up. That was a good delivery. And not in very good touch. John Wright completely beaten by a very good delivery. Ramanayaka putting a lot of effort to it. The ball just moved off the seam and off the wicket. Ramanayaka, who had 8 wickets against the Australians at the same venue. Here's Lianage. To Hartland, edges him, and Aravinda De Silva takes a good catch at first slip. And that's the end of Blair Hartland, and Lianage strikes and strikes well. Getting an edge, the ball dropping short, but Aravinda single-handed held on to that one very well indeed. As Vice Captain Andrew Jones comes in, he has 500 runs against Sri Lanka, including 3 centuries. Dulip Lianage to John Wright. Ooh, a bit of lift. And Lianage has bowled quite menacingly in this opening spell. Ramanayaka to Andrew Jones. Dropped it short and he got it on over the slip cordon. That'll be 4. The outfield slow, but enough power to take that ball into the boundary. So that's the first boundary for New Zealand this morning. And the ball hitting Jones as he batted up. Loud appeal, but the umpire not interested. And well outside the line of the stumps. Jones, one of the most accomplished batsmen for New Zealand. Ramanayaka's next delivery very well turned away to fine leg region. There'll be runs for it as the ball stops in those rather wet areas. Lianage to Jones. He plays him on the onside. Hashan Tilakaratna, the fielder, gives chase to mid-wicket area, and score keeps mounting as New Zealand get on top of the total. And here's Jones doing the bulk of the scoring at this rate. Drinks coming on, and Wright has been there for quite a while. Lianage has been the most impressive and the most successful bowler so far for Sri Lanka. John Wright, a man of 77 test match experiences. Ramanayaka bowls, and a brilliant catch there by Asanti Gurusingha at third slip. And the change of ends for Ramanayaka brings him instant success, and a very good change indeed by the Sri Lankan captain, really overjoyed. And right there, not right in line with the stumps and the delivery, and just getting an outside edge. What a brilliant catch there in the slips. Ramanayaka getting that ball to just drift away, and Wright looking to play that almost from the crease, and dejected as he walks away. A disappointing crowd nevertheless as the New Zealand captain comes in to the middle. Don Arunasari, the 4th bowler tried by Sri Lanka. Gurusingha, desperate attempt to make a catch of that one. He was nowhere near picking that ball up. Arunasari also Sri Lanka's most recognized spinner. Crow very well indeed, getting off as Jananda Varnavira comes in, picks up and returns to Gamini Wickramasinghe. That was a good throw. He'll be expected to bowl later in the day. Adversary balls and Jones steers it. Chandika Singh fields. No ball called, and that's the third no ball by Champaka Ramanayaka. Extras a healthy 10 at the moment. New Zealand 50 coming up for the loss of 2 wickets. The waiver delivery, although it came in, Jones picking that line very early. New Zealand batsmen have done quite well. Hooks it, not with much power, but Varnavira gets behind, returns. Martin Crowe having faced up to 23 balls, very sedate start from him. Strokes it on the onside, and there's runs for him. Sanath Jayasuriya on the field for Ramanayaka, out for a brief period, and the New Zealand captain now playing up to the bowlers with a lot more ease. And as I said so, he comes up and drives on the onside. That's a good looking stroke. Varnavira gives chase. The ball may not reach the boundary. As Varnavira gets to it, the ball in that rather wet area at long on. Lienegate drops short, and that's the first positive stroke there from the New Zealand captain. Down to cover point for 4 runs. Very well struck indeed, and Lienegate cannot afford to bowl short at a batsman of his nature. This time overpitched and forces him on the onside. Ranatunga gives chase, at least another couple for Martin Crowe, and timing that ball quite well. Lienegate drops it short, and this one pulled away, and that will go to the boundary at mid-wicket. So Lienegate conceding 10 runs of 3 deliveries as Percy Abesekara picks up, and Martin Crowe onto double figures. Well in line and played it quite well, although the ball did not rise up as much as he liked. Struck it quite firmly. So Jones on 29 and Crowe batting increasingly with confidence. And here's Jananda Varnavira, utility bowler, into the attack. Not a particularly convincing stroke there from the New Zealand batsman, as Varnavira, a very difficult customer indeed, is looking to sweep him down to square leg region. And Lienegate and Ramanayaka, the 2 opening bowlers, the success stories for Sri Lanka. Varnavira to Crowe, and this one he gets it away. Oh, brilliantly taken by the Sri Lankan captain at mid-wicket, and that was a marvellous catch. You couldn't have asked for a better attempt by the Sri Lankan captain against Martin Crowe, and look at that. Went for a full-blooded stroke, didn't quite get hold of it, and look at Hashan Tilakaratne taking evasive action and diving full stretch and taking a brilliant single-handed catch. Arjun Ranatunga, excellent bit of fielding there on the outfield. Varnavira strikes and strikes well. New Zealand losing their 3rd wicket with a total on 77. A marvellous effort indeed. And here's Ken Rutherford coming in. Load of experience for him. He scored 250s in the 2nd test at Harare. Lienegate bowling to him. And that's a good delivery. A very good first delivery to Rutherford from Lienegate. And the slip fielders really waiting for it. Aravinda, Roshan Mahanama and Guru Singha. 2 good catches in that area, and that one very close to getting a touch. The crowd improved as the afternoon has more action. Rutherford in strike from Varnavira. Drops it short outside and he cuts it, and that's down to the third man boundary. There's no fielder there. That'll be 4. And that's a good stroke from Rutherford. Well on top of it and hit it with a lot of power. The outfield very much improved. And Jones in particular having very good touch and keeping that scoreboard moving, which is important for New Zealand. Lenage now bowling to Andrew Jones with the 3 close-in fielders quite prominent. Outside the line, edges and comfortably taken by Roshan Manama at second slip. That was a pretty straightforward catch, and that's the breakthrough Sri Lanka were really looking forward to. And Lenage picks up his second wicket. Some very consistent bowling, and Andrew Jones departs, having faced up to 97 deliveries and hit 2 boundaries. And that's the dismissal once again. Outside the line of his off stump and not quite over it. And a top edge comfortably taken by Roshan Manama. So 3 good catches in the slips, and the new batsman in is Chris Harris. And here's Rutherford pulling Lenage away 4 runs in front of the New Zealand dressing room, and Rutherford in particular not letting anything get away, very much in control as he pulled it away, smashing it down to the boundary, backward to square. Lenage to Rutherford once again, pulls him around to mid-wicket. Hashan Tilakaratne gives chase, and so does Jananda Varnavira, who gets the ball just inside the boundary as it stops in that rather slow outfield. And the throw comes in as the batsman completes 3 runs. So Chris Harris, one of the 3 New Zealand debutants in the test team. And that's Rutherford coming down the track, hoisting over, long on, that'll be 6. A marvellous stroke, and Rutherford really not looking to be bogged down just after the century was posted for New Zealand. Here's Lenage once again, sweeps it and very delicately timed and placed. Chandika Hathurusinghe on the fielder, the batsman complete 1. Really good throw. So Rutherford now taking over the scoring. The partnership well worth 20 runs. Harris have not played in Zimbabwe. And over the head of the close-in fielders, Jananda Varnavira to Ken Rutherford. Edges it to third man region. There's no fielder there. Past Aravinda De Silva. That'll be 4 more. Aravinda De Silva standing somewhat wide, and a big gap there as Varnavira pitched it just outside the off stump and very delicately glided away past Aravinda De Silva. He had very little chances of cutting that one away. Chris Harris did not play in Zimbabwe and has been New Zealand's most prolific scorer on the Sri Lankan leg. Aravinda De Silva, allowed appeal, disallowed by the umpire, looking in for some off-spin variety by the Sri Lankan captain. Rutherford in strike. Down the leg side and missed by the wicketkeeper Gamini Wickramasinghe, and that's the first bye of the innings, signalled by umpire T.M. Samarasinghe. So Rutherford on 42 and Chris Harris on 8, doing a very valuable service after the last wicket fell at 87. The clouds really building up, and Lenage's 2 wickets quite prominent there, and ably supported by Ramanayaka and Varnavira 1 each. The difference has been Jayananda Varnavira's inability to break through as he bowls to Chris Harris. There he is, using his height to very good advantage. He has a long reach. The dark clouds quite prominent there as the 2 batsmen confer. Rutherford going down the track to Don Arunasiri and misses it, and Gamini Wickramasinghe also misses it. Tragedy here for Sri Lanka. And Hashan Tilakaratne has a chance of having Rutherford out. He misses the stumps and Rutherford is home. Oh, that was a very big miss there by the Sri Lankan close-in fielders and Wickramasinghe in particular, as Rutherford and Chris Harris walk off the middle as play is suspended for bad light. No hope of a resumption as the clouds very much over the Tyrone Fernando Stadium. So that is the story, and the scorecard reveals the lack of match practice on the New Zealand and top order batsmen, and although 3 of them got into their stride, did not quite capitalize. Martin Grove, having lost the toss, made 19, and Andrew Jones 35, and Ken Rutherford 46 with a life, and Chris Harris on 11 doing the bulk of the scoring. The extras 13 and 10 no balls must be of concern for the Sri Lankans. And in the bowling for Sri Lanka, Ramanayaka 1 for 33 bowled well. Lianage the most successful, 2 for 43 of 16. Haturu Singh did not impress for his 2 overs. Arunasiri deserved very much better figures, 15 overs, 4 maidens, none for 32. Varnavira, the other wicket taker, 1 for 19 of 13.1 overs. And Aravinda De Silva chipping in with 4 overs. 2 good partnerships for the second wicket between Andrew Jones and John Wright, and for the third wicket between Martin Grove and Andrew Jones, resurrecting the New Zealand innings in the top order. We hope you enjoyed, and please join us tomorrow when we bring you highlights on the second day's play, and good night. Welcome to the highlights, and a good sunny morning and play resuming on time. Ken Rutherford overnight closer to his 10th half century, completed it in the 3rd over of the morning. Varnavira is bowling to him, and Rutherford off drives handsomely through the covers, and Lianage after it. Those are the first offensive strokes of the New Zealand batsman on the second day, and the throw coming into Gamini Wickramasinghe. So Rutherford has been the tower of strength. Ramanayaka to Rutherford. Bowls, and he pulls him away beautifully through mid-wicket. So no stopping that one. That's a good boundary. And the ball just slowing down but having enough power. Varnavira to Rutherford once again. Bowls. And a good delivery. And that was close. It may have hit the stumps. Varnavira pitching it right up to Rutherford. He missed it. It hit on his hind leg and very close to being bowled off his leg. Arunasiri bowls to Harris, and a good attempt there by Tilakaratne, but the umpire is not moved. Harris playing his first test match, and a creditable batting performance from him. Varnavira bowls to Harris, good delivery, and that was just outside the reach of Asanka Gurusinghe there at Silimidov. And this partnership now threatening, and 75 runs added after a run a minute first 50. Allowed appeal, disallowed by the umpire. Gamini Wickramasinghe has not been all that confident, especially this morning. Varnavira's next delivery turning and hits Tilakaratne, who is fielding at forward short leg. That must be quite painful. And on his knee, he's on the ground, and Rutherford trying to work him on the onside through mid-wicket. Tilakaratne must be in some sort of discomfort. Must be of concern. The crowd around 2,500 and expected to grow towards the evening. Lianage quite menacing this morning. Rutherford on drives him firmly. That's a good stroke. A ball pitched up to him. Ramanayaka gives chase. The ball slows down in that area where the outfield is somewhat slow. The batsman completing 2 runs. So Rutherford moving on to what appears to be another big score from him. His 3rd consecutive half century in tests so far. Lianage bowls to him, and a good attempt there by the wicketkeeper down the leg side. Lianage spraying one of so many occasions. Ramanayaka's next delivery to Harris. He pads up. Katie Francis not impressed. Lianage now to Rutherford. Bowls, hooks him and gets it away through mid-wicket. That'll be 4. Haturu Singhe won't get to it. And that's Rutherford's 9th boundary. Be batting extremely well now. T.M. Samarasinghe with the honours. The partnership now worth 100 runs and coming at a very, very crucial stage midway through the innings. Rutherford quite behind it and controlling it to keep it down, away from any other fielders. Here's Gurusinghe to Harris. Bowls and who plays him away on the offside. A glorious stroke. That's Harris's first boundary as it takes him on to 20. Put the pressure on the Sri Lankan bowlers. Lienage to Rutherford. Overpitched on the offside, driven through the covers. That'll be 4. No stopping that one. The outfield quite fast. And a record partnership for New Zealand against Sri Lanka. Lienage once more into Rutherford. Short and hooked away. Over the head of Jayananda Varnavira. That should be 6. Yes, it is. And another glorious stroke. His second 6 brings him up to 89. Rutherford in fine form here. That ball well short and very well struck indeed. Excellent positioning there by Ken Rutherford. Ramanayaka to Harris. Bowls, and that was very close indeed. A big shout by the wicketkeeper and the close-in fielders. But umpire Samarasinghe not impressed, and Ramanayaka can't believe it. That was very close indeed. Harris playing it away from his body, and over it there may have been some deflection. The close-in fielders were very confident, but umpire Samarasinghe not impressed. So Rutherford having hit 10 boundaries and 2 sixes in prime touch once again. Ramanayaka once more into Rutherford. Bowls and over the head of the wicketkeeper. That's going down to the boundary. Gurusinghe won't stop it. 4 runs and a big effort there by Ramanayaka to have a vicious bouncer, ending up with Vikramasinghe just getting a hand to it but unable to stop it. So that's buys on to 5 and extras on the rise. Harris meanwhile on 41. And edges it once more. Allowed appeal by Tulip Lienage. Umpire Katie Francis not moved. 23 extras and 50 no balls. Much concern. A handsome contribution to the New Zealand total. Lienage's next delivery short and back cut firmly by Rutherford. The backward point 4 more. Short once again and very well into position, and just a crisp roll of his wrists past the gully area for 4 runs. The outfield quite fast in that area towards the dressing rooms. Lienage once more balls and Rutherford hits him away. Beautifully fielded there by Aravinda De Silva at fine leg. Prevented what appeared to be a certain boundary. Lienage to Harris on 42. Off drives firmly through the covers. A diving effort there by Arunasiri. Can't prevent it. The ball reaches the boundary. That's Harris's second boundary, and he timed it so well. And here's Arjun Ranatunga bringing himself on, the 8th bowler for Sri Lanka. Both Rutherford drives firmly through the covers. This should be his century. Driving that ball through long of 4 runs, and that's his second Test century there for Rutherford. And in 3 innings, he has 2 big 50s and a century. Rutherford really happy and coming at a time when New Zealand really needed those runs. The partnership now worth 147 and a record for New Zealand against Sri Lanka. Hatrusinghe bowls to Rutherford, edges it through the slip cordon down to the 3rd man boundary. 4 more. Hatrusinghe to Rutherford once more. Slashers is caught behind. Sweet revenge there for Gamini Vikramasinghe. Rutherford slashing outside the off stump, and the long innings by the New Zealander comes to an end thanks to Chantika Hatrusinghe. 222 balls faced for his century, which came up with 12 boundaries and 2 sixes. Rutherford getting that ball short outside the off stump, slashing, getting a bottom edge and through to the wicket keeper. Jubilation there, and the new batsman in is Justin Vaughan on his Test debut. The left-hander faces up to Hatrusinghe, upishly just short of Tulip Lienage, so he survives. And Jayananda Varnavira getting some advice from the Sri Lankan captain. Hatrusinghe bowls to Vaughan, edges it down to the 3rd man boundary. No stopping that one, there's no field there. Varnavira into Harris, bowls and he plays him neatly off his legs down to fine leg region. That should reach the boundary, and that's his third boundary, and brings up the maiden test half century for Chris Harris as he acknowledges the wide cheers from his team and the supporters. The spectators really enjoying. He played like knock, and here he is once again in strike from Varnavira. This time he drives firmly over the top on the offside. Long chase there for the fielders. It may not reach the boundary, and Anurasiri is there to pick up and return to Varnavira. So Harris on the offensive. Varnavira once again bowls to Vaughan. This time he edges it between slip and gully, going down to the third man boundary, 4 runs, and Varnavira does not like it. New Zealand really up on the offensive. Varnavira getting Vaughan to edge that one, and the slip fielders not very alert on that occasion. A clear edge, but safely. The partnership now worth 27 and coming at a crucial stage. Harris in strike from Anurasiri. Bowls, plays him on the onside to Aravinda De Silva at mid-wicket. Varnavira to Harris. Bowls, and he leaves it, and he's bowled. Oh, what a way to end that innings by Chris Harris. He played so well, and on that occasion just left it alone, and Varnavira is delighted. His maiden test half century coming to an end under somewhat tragic circumstances. He didn't offer a stroke, and really not much seen except that the wicket was broken as that delivery just grazed Harris somewhere on his body. He really intended to leave it and left it all alone, he did. And the new batsman in Adam Parori, the New Zealand wicketkeeper, playing in his 5th test match. That's the scorecard. The middle order really given the boost by Rutherford and Chris Harris. Vaughan on 7, playing sensibly. That was the bowling for Sri Lanka. Lianage still very impressive, 2 for 79, and Varnavira 2 for 13, very economical in 28 overs. The next ball off driven firmly but straight to Arjun Ranatunga at gully. Varnavira bowls to Parore, and a good attempt there by Varnavira, trying to get the batsman on that leg trap, but not quite there for Aravinda De Silva. Got Parore to play at him, and a desperate attempt. Ramanayaka bowls to Parore, and that's played very well off his legs. Jananda Varnavira, the fielder, comes in from fine leg, not a particularly good return, and the New Zealanders enjoying the sun and the cricket. Varnavira once again to Justin Vaughan, picked up there by Tilakaratna. No run. Varnavira very economical, and the crowd really enjoying some absorbing cricket by the New Zealanders on their first real strong outing. 10 of this team on their first tour, and 3 of the New Zealanders in their first test match. Parore once again facing up to Anurasiri. Bowls, and he got a turn and an edge to it. He may be out. Yes, it is. Umpire Samarasinghe had a big, long, delayed look at the situation and finally gave Adam Parore out, and Anurasiri picks up his first wicket. Well caught by Gamini Wickramasinghe for his second victim of the match. And there it is. The action replay, Anurasiri flighting that ball just outside the off stump to Parore. He played for the turn, and he was right on target to edge that one, only to be collected by the wicketkeeper. Umpire Samarasinghe taking a good look before he ruled the batsman out. And Parore must be very disappointed. A very thin edge and a good catch there behind the wickets. Gamini Wickramasinghe in only his second test match. From another angle, very comfortably taken. It was a very confident appeal by the Sri Lankan close-in fielders. And here is Dion Nash, the new batsman. Ansari bowls to him and he cuts it dangerously close to the close-in fielders. Mahanama gives chase, picks up at third man, and Nash is off the mark. He's on 2. Anusari once again to Nash. Edges it once again. Mahanama diving. Didn't quite get there. No danger of being caught. Anusari getting the ball to turn a little bit now, especially with the late order batsman aiming to stay there. Justin Vaughan giving some advice to Dion Nash. Vaughan has been there for quite a while. Paramveera bowls to him, pads up. Paramveera asks the question, no result. Arunusari to Dion Nash. The close-in fielder is very prominent. That was a good ball. It turned, and one of the few deliveries that really turned and troubled the batsman. Lenegay to Vaughan. Bowls and played on the onside, but not with much power. He didn't quite time it. Champaka Ramanayaka, the fielder. 283 for 7. Lenegay. Bowls to Nash. Edges it, and a brilliant catch there by Gamini Wickramasinghe. That was a very good effort by the Sri Lankan wicketkeeper. And these are the type of catches that really put the pressure on the opposing batsman. Dion Nash departs out for 4. Very well taken by Gamini Wickramasinghe, and Lenegay picks up his third wicket. He was moving in the wrong direction, and a single-handed catch, diving forward and well away from his body. Some very persistent bowling by Dulip Lenegay brings him his third wicket. Outside the line of the off stump, the batsman not quite there in line as he played that one, edged it, and what a brilliant catch there by Gamini Wickramasinghe. That's his third victim, and the new batsman in is Murphy Sua, and he is the first Western Samoan to play for New Zealand. Lenegay bowls to Sua, greets him with a bouncer, and that's the typical greeting by the opening bowler to his counterpart. Lenegay has 3 for 80, excellent figures in 25 overs. Lenegay now to Vaughan bowls, and he bottom edges it to Tilakaratne at first slip. Lenegay can't believe it. Vaughan has been there for quite some time for his 15 runs. Lenegay once again. Bowls to Vaughan and plays him on the onside. Neatly played off his hips this time through mid-wicket. That's a long chase there for Asanka Gurusinghe, running in from square leg. Lenegay once more into Vaughan. Bowls, and that was dangerously close to the outside edge. Well bowled Lenegay. Anusari to Murphy Sua. Anusari asks the question. Umpire not impressed. Well worth a shout nevertheless. And the next ball, he's bowled him. Similar delivery. Played a quicker stroke, yoked himself, and Murphy Sua is out. So New Zealand losing their 9th wicket. And the wicket taken by John Anurusari, picking up his 2nd wicket. And Murphy Sua, the first batsman, out without scoring for New Zealand. The last man in is Michael Owens, also playing in his first test match, the New Zealand opening bowler. Lenegay into Owens, balls, and a loud appeal as he collects it somewhere on his toe. Umpire Katie Francis quite annoyed. That ball really drifting down the leg side. No chance of an LBW. Vaughan on 18, facing up to Lenegay. Bowls to him. Oh, beats him, bowled him. That's a good delivery. Kept in line with the stumps, and with sheer pace beat Vaughan as he played the wrong line between bat and pad. A very good delivery brings Dulip Lenegay his 4th wicket, and he has now taken the first and last wickets of the New Zealand first innings. That dismissal once again, Lenegay really putting a lot of effort, was very determined to add to his tally, and that he did, hitting that ball off stump. And really beaten by the pace of that one, and the gate doing the rest for the New Zealand last man. So the crowd elated, and that's the story of the New Zealand innings. After the top order failed somewhat, Ken Rutherford and Chris Harris putting on 151 runs, and the last 6 New Zealand wickets falling for just 50 runs tells the story of a splendid recovery as far as Sri Lanka is concerned. The bowling figures: Ramanayaka 1 for 57, bowled quite well without luck. Lianage, most impressive, 4 for 84 of 26.5 overs, really put in a lot of effort. Hathurusingha chipped in with a very important wicket at a crucial time, and the Sri Lankan openers coming out with the prospect of facing up to 15 overs after New Zealand were all out for 4:35 this evening. Chandika Hathurusingha and Roshan Mahanama, the openers, they will be looking to stay there as much as possible, and the wicket playing somewhat slowly, and Murphy Sua, who has been the find of the New Zealanders on this twin tour, getting ready to bowl the first over to Roshan Mahanama. Plays it on the onside, no run. Sua had 5 wickets against Zimbabwe. Into Mahanama, plays it to Vaughan, and very good reflexes there by the New Zealander. Hit the stumps first time, and that's another good delivery. Moved away from Mahanama, he saw it, but nevertheless that ball moved. Here's Michael Ovens, his first delivery in Test cricket. Balls wide and very wide. That could be one of the widest of the wides, picked up by Martin Crowe at second slip, quite amused. Bounce once again to Hathurusingha, this time down the leg side. Well picked up by Parori. Lucky not to have been called wide. Next delivery, a better one. Good line and length. Martin Crowe at second slip. And once again, Ovens bowls well outside the off stump. Umpire Samarsingha kept quite busy. And the next ball through first slip and second. A diving Parori, can't get to it. 4 wides, and that's the 6th run coming in this over, all by wides. Once again, another delivery that could also be collected by somebody, especially at slip. And there it is, signaled wide. So 7 runs, all extras and all wides. As we see the action replay, the ball moved so much, and Martin Crowe, for the 2nd time in this over, doing what Parori should have done. Owens bowls to Mahanama, forces him on the onside through mid-wicket. Should be a comfortable couple. As Dion Nash picks up running in from mid-off. Mahanama on to 3, and with a thin Bristol falling with just 4.2 overs bowled and getting stronger, the umpires call off play, in fact suspense play, and that was the story that stayed with light fading and the drizzle getting stronger. Sri Lanka finished at 10 for the loss of no wickets, with Mahanama on 3 and Hathurusingha yet to score, and the bulk of scoring by way of extras. Sua bowled 2.2 overs and Ovens just 2 overs, and he conceded the most number of runs. And we hope you enjoyed, and join us tomorrow for highlights on the 3rd day. Good night from me. Hashan Tilakaratne and Arjuna Ranatunga both yet to score, coming out to the middle, and the Sri Lankan captain today celebrating his birthday. Sri Lanka will be looking for some quick runs, and we pick up play in the first over. Murphy Sua is the bowler, Hashan Tilakaratne taking strike. Sua, the most successful New Zealand bowler up to now, with 2 wickets. Tilakaratne prods forward off the pad, and that's the 300th run of the innings, coming up in 369 minutes of batting of a leg by, and Sua completing the over. So Owens now with the first over of the 4th day from him. Bowled him, beautiful delivery, right on target of the very first delivery, and Hashan Tilakaratne playing right over it through the gate, and the 5th Sri Lankan wicket down. Owens kept that ball up and straight, and Hashan Tilakaratne, a poor stroke from him, left that gate open, and the ball right through it, hitting middle and off stump. So Sri Lanka effectively losing their 3rd wicket for the addition of only 3 runs, and at wickets falling at 297 and 300, Gamini Wickramasinghe comes in. The Sri Lankan wicketkeeper will be looking up to score some runs quickly and do it well as Owens comes to him. Good delivery to greet the new batsman. Keeps the pressure up. Strain down the offside, and that's a pretty adventurous stroke there from Gamini Wickramasinghe wide of John Wright at third man. That's 4. More of a Caribbean nature, and what a way to get off the mark. That's a glorious stroke from Gamini Wickramasinghe. Away from his body, but he timed it so well. He was very confident playing that one. And as we see it from another angle, he really moved into it off the back foot and then slashed it middle of the bat. Good delivery, beat Ranatunga. Not very far away from the outside. So Owens bowling pretty effectively on the 4th day. Ranatunga edges and he's gone. Good catch in front of first slip. So Parare picks up the first victim of the match. And what a good strike there from Owens. His second wicket and bowling so well in his first test match. Brings Champaka Ramanayaka into the middle, and Sri Lanka have now lost 2 wickets on the 4th day for the addition of 10 runs, and the last 4 wickets for the addition of only 12. So to Ramanayaka, and a pretty loose stroke there. Owens now in. Wickramasinghe drives firmly over the top on the offside through cover. That will be just 4, beating the fielder on the area where the outfield is not very fast. That's the second boundary for Gamini Wickramasinghe. Takes him on to double figures. He's on 11. Timed it well once again, and no fielder there in the deep in the cover area. He took good advantage. Owens to Ramanayaka, edges him wide of the third slip there. Good effort from the New Zealand fielder at the boundary, but he couldn't prevent it from crossing over, and he had a long chase, and that was Dion Nash. Desperate attempt, but 4 runs. So Ramanayaka off the mark. Sua into him. Once again, Ramanayaka slashing and missing. So instructions very clear from the Sri Lankan dressing room to go after that bowling, and a declaration will be coming in pretty quickly. Ramanayaka reaching out to it and missing it. Trying to force it over on the offside. 316 for 6 the total. Nowhere near it, playing that one. Sua from the Murtu end. Full toss to Ramanayaka, plays him on the onside. That's a firm stroke. A long chase there for the fielder. John Wright picking it up as it slowed down, and the batsman taking 3. And that's the declaration coming in with Sri Lanka on 327 for 6. Wickramasinghe on 13 and Ramanayaka on 10. Wickramasinghe a pretty bold strike out there, and Ramanayaka gave him very good support. And Michael Owens and Murphy Sua picking up 2 wickets for New Zealand, and Dion Nash the first one. That's the Sri Lankan scorecard. Mahanama the top score of 153, but losing wickets after the exit of Aravinda De Silva and Asanka Gurusinghe, with the middle order somewhat shaky. Tilakaratne and Ranatunga not impressing. 92 overs bowled and 32 extras of some concern, and that's the New Zealand bowling figures. Vaughan, Harris, Jones and Crowe failing to take wickets, but Vaughan in particular bowled quite menacingly, and Sri Lanka looking for a quick breakthrough as the umpires come out to the middle, and Arjuna Ranatunga on his birthday leading Sri Lanka out for the second time in this match, hoping to make a breakthrough. He made a declaration, and with just 37 runs on, Blair Hartland and John Wright at the middle. Hartland taking strike from Ramanayaka. Confidently played to cover. Arunasiri the fielder. Wright, the most experienced batsman, taking strike from Dulit Lienege, the highest wicket taker in the first innings for Sri Lanka. Played defensively but not very effectively, and New Zealand will be hoping to stay there as long as possible. Oh, that's a good delivery, and Wickramasinghe there a bit suspect. The ball moved off the seam and pretty helpful conditions at the Tyrone Fernando Stadium. And Wright very lucky not to have got a touch. Wickramasinghe in fact moved in the wrong direction as the ball swung away on the offside from the left-hander. Heartland also playing and missing to Ramanayaka. This time the ball moving away from the right-hander. So good bowling here from the Sri Lankan new ball bowler, the most experienced of the lot. Really worked himself out, and that ball just missing the outside edge. The slip cordon will be waiting expectantly. And John Wright trying to take the pressure off as the field comes in. And Ranatunga on the offensive. The delivery well worth a shout. But umpire Samanasinghe not impressed. Heartland, a pretty dumb expression. Will be looking to stay there as long as possible. He came across that ball not gaining too much height. So Lenage shouting and earning that shout very well. A good delivery. That one beat Heartland, and Lenage has very good reasons to be quite annoyed and dejected that he missed the outside edge of that one. So he's bowling well, and the new ball bowlers so far making good use of the ball and the conditions. Ramanayaka is bowling from the Moratua end. Right. Let it go outside the off stump. The umpires under a lot of pressure, but they've done a fairly good job right up to now. Wright has a long reach. He comes well forward and gets it on his front leg. No danger there. Lenage to Heartland. Balls, plays it, and well fielded at third slip by Hashan Tilakaratne. Sri Lanka needs to tighten up in that area. That was an edge, but well away from the fielder. It bounced in front of him. Good effort from Tilakaratne. Lenage into Wright. Oh, he played and missed. So many times with the new ball, and pretty hard luck there for Lenage. He's been trying for a long time, and Wright playing and missing. Obviously out of prime touch. That was a pretty loose delivery, and Wright looking for the big hit. The crowd slightly improved from the morning, but well below what we had on the third day. Full toss and driven firmly through cover point, and that's the first boundary for John Wright on the fourth tour to Sri Lanka, and the first of his innings, and a pretty loose delivery there from Dilip Lenage. Arjuna Ranatunga into the attack. So he will be hoping to have better luck with the ball. Wright taking strike. Edges it. Oh, just short of Hashan Tilakaratne. That should have been taken. And a pretty thick edge there. And Hashan Tilakaratne just failing to get both hands to that one. It was short, but certainly he should have taken that one. He's at first slip. One of the better fielders in the Sri Lankan side. He's a bit slow off the mark. That prevented him from taking. Aravinda De Silva in the first innings took a similar catch of Heartland to take the first wicket, but not luck this time. Heartland it is, taking strike from Ramanayaka. So Heartland batting quite well, taking no chances. Hatrusinghe bowls to him. That one beat him. He was late in taking his bat away from the line of that delivery and nearly cost him his wicket. Not much of a movement, but a clever variation of pace there. And Ranatunga switching his bowlers to try and break through. Ramanayaka to right. Balls played forward, and that's a good run. Well judged, taken, and Hashan Tilakaratne has a shy at the non-strikers end. There's no fielder backing up, so 4 runs, 5 runs to John Wright as he moves up to double figures. Umpire Samarasinghe signalling the 5 runs to the scorers, and New Zealand on its way safely. Next delivery short and cut well, but he played over it, and Gamini Wickremesinghe picks up. Runs here for Heartland on the onside. Ramanayaka gives chase. Long chase there for him, but the outfield slightly damp and slow. That's a good return to the bowler. Tilakaratne at forward short leg. An intended bouncer, a short one, and played well by Wright. Lienege, the fielder, coming in from fine leg, and a fairly good return to Gamini Wickremesinghe. So Wright is gaining in confidence, playing his strokes much more confidently. Ramanayaka into Heartland. Edges it, and he's taken it, but that's a no ball. Oh, tragedy for Ramanayaka and Sanath Jayasuriya, who is in at third slip for Asanka Gurusinghe, who is not on the field, and the slip fielders thoroughly annoyed. A good delivery, he hits it away to fine leg region. That'll be a firm shot. Came back, but umpire Samarasinghe not interested. Outside the line of the off stump. Oh, well played there by Wright. He got the foot to the pitch of that ball and drove it very firmly. Oh, he survives. That ball came into Heartland, and a good ball there from Champaka Ramanayaka. Had the batsman in all sorts of trouble, but at the nick of the time, it just got his bat through, preventing it from having him LBW or bowled. Lienege to Heartland, and he top edges it. There's no fielder there to third man. 4 runs. That's his third boundary. Takes Heartland on to 27. Don Arunasuri spin into the Sri Lankan attack. Well flighted. And allowed a bail. Picked up there by Sanath Jayasuriya. Umpire KT Francis not interested. And a lot of pressure on the Sri Lankan umpires, but they have done quite well, giving a lot of air, but well stretched there by John Wright. Lienege. He dropped it short, and Ranatunga, who took the pace off that at gully, and the fielding completed by Chandika Hatrusinghe. And he got that one away, not very well, but away from Hashan Tilakaratne down to the boundary for 4. And that's the third boundary for John Wright. At the last moment, he probably took the eyes off that ball, but nevertheless continued with the stroke, the intended hook shot. And although the ball in the air for a long time, just out of the reach of Hashan Tilakaratne, had he taken it, would have been a good catch. So John Wright becomes the first New Zealander to do so, and doing it in great style. Driven on the half volley past Aravinda De Silva at cover. He got a hand to it. The pace taken off the ball. And a couple to Blair Heartland. Hatrusinghe doing the fielding. Ranatunga very concerned that the breakthrough is not there. Arunasuri bowls to Heartland and left alone. It was very close. Not very far away from the bat there, and Aravinda De Silva clearly not ready for that one. Ranatunga's next delivery pulled away on the onside. From fine leg, it's Arunasuri fielding and returning well. The next ball over pitch and driven firmly through cover. That's a good stroke there from Blair Heartland. He really launched himself onto that one and timed it so well, giving absolutely no chance for the cover fielders to get anywhere near it. So this is the highest opening partnership at the Tyrone Fernando Stadium in 6 test innings. Oh, a bit of bother. He may have probably got himself bowled if that one hit the wickets. Varnavira into Heartland. The next ball short and stumped through cover. Probably would not reach the boundary. Wait and see. No, it will. Just beats Chandika Hathurusingha into the boundary, and that's the 4th for Blair Hartland. He's on to 41. Sanath Jayasuriya picks up, and Varnavira asks another loud question. Umpire Katie Francis not impressed. Clearly off the pad, as Blair Hartland offered only his front pad to that delivery from Varnavira. Close-in fielders very attentive, and the New Zealand opener stretching as much as possible. The third umpire is Ponnadure, bringing in match balls for a change of deliveries, change of balls. Arunasiri to John Wright. Driven on the offside, that's a good stroke. Varnavira gives chase, it will be a long one. And good bit of fielding there, prevented it from crossing over. And a comfortable 3 runs to John Wright. Varnavira to Wright. Stroked it away on the onside, that's a good stroke off his legs. Probably will reach the boundary. Yes, it does. A pretty loose delivery there. That's the 3rd boundary for John Wright. Hartland plays forward, and Sanath Jayasuriya once again asking the question, but umpire Francis not impressed. Oh, a neat bit of stumping there by Gamini Wickramasinghe, but the batsman safely home. That was good cricket. Not the easiest of stumpings and collections, but in a flash, the ball gaining a little bit of height. So good work there by Gamini Wickramasinghe, but Blair Hartland had his rear foot out and then in time. The next ball stroked it on the offside to 3rd man, Chandika Hathurusingha, the fielder. The batsman complete too. A good return into Gamini Wickramasinghe. So that's Blair Hartland with his maiden test half-century, the 2nd New Zealander to do so after Chris Harris, and with a total of 104 for no loss, and New Zealand with 67 runs on, going into the final day with all their wickets intact. It has been a quite sensible and fair recovery for them to be in this match and go into the next matches from a position of strength. They have really struggled, they have survived, and the breakthrough after New Zealand put on a plucky display yesterday with the openers putting on 104 runs after 225 minutes of batting. Hartland completing a fine half-century, his first in Test cricket, and Wright giving him valuable support, and we pick up play in the first delivery. Hashan Tilakaratne, the fielder. Wright, who is 38, not out. Denege's next delivery turned away neatly on the onside, so that's the first run for the morning. Hashan Tilakaratne, the fielder. Wright is on to 39. Varnavira. Edges, and he's bowled him. A good delivery, but it's a no ball. And Wright clearly beaten with that. He played the wrong line, and the ball just passed the outside edge. And oh, he did get attached to that one. Ramanayaka's next delivery. Hartland not interested, that ball down the leg side. Ramanayaka once more into Hartland, wrapped on the pad, allowed appeal, given out, LBW, and that's the first wicket down for New Zealand, and Ramanayaka strikes well, and the breakthrough taken. A good delivery in line with the stumps, and that's the replay of Jananda Varnavira bowling to John Wright. So the new batsman in is Andrew Jones with New Zealand 110 for the loss of 1 wicket. Ramanayaka into him, neatly turned off his pads, and that's a good stroke. On the onside, Varnavira, the fielder, very quickly in, preventing any more than just a single. Wright takes his bat away from Ramanayaka. A good strike there. is into John Wright. Pulled away on the onside. That's a pretty confident looking stroke. Chandika Hatrusingha gets to boot to it. And just a single to Wright. He's on to 40. Varnavira to Jones and stroked away on the outside. Off the back foot, Aravinda De Silva gives chase. It won't reach the boundary. And a comfortable couple for Andrew Jones. Wright not particularly comfortable getting away from the line of that one. Ramanayake into him once again. Down the leg side. And a good bit of wicket keeping there from Gamini Wickramasinghe. And here's John Anurasari into John Wright. And that was not far away from any of the fielders. Right down the track, and he's gone. And a very good delivery indeed by Don Anurasari. Brought the batsman out, and he was nowhere near connecting that one, looking for a big hit. And Don Anurasari strikes, giving Gamini Wickramasinghe the first victim of the second innings, and that's his fourth of the innings. He was right down the track, and the close-in fielders taking evasive action, missed it completely, and he was no way coming back into that wicket. He's in fact clean out of that pitcher and well on his way out. So brings the New Zealand captain in with New Zealand on 122 for 2. That's a pretty confident appeal as the ball came in, but outside the line of the off stump. The umpire is under a lot of pressure, and the enthusiastic Moratua crowd once again at the match. They have been coming right through. Here's Varnavira. Jones is not very comfortable playing it down. Don Anurasari fields at cover point. Anurasari will have a long ball throughout today. Well flighted once again. Spinning away from the batsman. Jones once again taking strike from Anurasari. Oh, laid back, and that ball kept low as it was floated quickly, not far away from the off stump. A close call there for Jones. The next ball swept away, very fine and a good stroke there. Equally well fielded by Jananda Varnavira. So Crow taking strike from Don Anurasari. And a pretty confident stroke to get off the mark that time of no ball. And that's his first boundary, and the first boundary for the day for the New Zealanders. Takes Martin Crowe off the mark. Anurasari into Crowe. In the air, and a good attempt there from Hashan Tilakaratne. He's given out, caught at the wicket. That was a pretty good effort from the Sri Lankan close-in fielder, and Hashan Tilakaratne really came a long way, and Martin Crowe departs for 11, and that's the third New Zealand wicket down with the total at 136. And Crowe disappointed on that occasion. He made only 17 in the first innings. He may have just got a faint touch to that one. And look at Tilakaratne. He came a very long way from his position at silly mid-off as the ball ballooned in the air, diving full stretch and taking it single-handed. Excellent effort, and one of the few occasions the Sri Lankans has really grabbed that occasion. And here's the centurion of the first innings coming in with New Zealand 3 wickets down. So Rutherford will be eager to put on a better show once again. The close-in fielders coming in very close as Rutherford stretches well forward. Not far away from Gursingha. Rutherford sweeps and sweeps it well. Very fine indeed. Jananda Varnavira the fielder.
Yo, 42K of holidays, better book another day. Yo, ready when you are to play. Beautiful one day, perfect the next.
What would you say to a Sunlover 5-night holiday flying Qantas to the Gold Coast for this great Queensland price?
Stroked away on the offside by Jones. Arjun Ranatunga the fielder. And the outfield pretty quick now. Rutherford taking strike from Anniversary. Into him, and once again a very acrobatic Hashan Tilakaratne puts the pressure on the New Zealand batsman. $129 for 2 at lunch, and they have progressed ever since. The next ball, he's tried to sweep right across, fails to make contact. Hatru Singh, the fielder. And there's the scorecard. Apart from that opening partnership, the rest of the batting has been quite slow. And Lienege into Rutherford. Lienege yet to take a wicket in the second innings. Neatly turned away, and that'll be 4. There's no fielder there at fine leg. And once again, Lienege spraying down the leg side. And for a man who is in very good touch, Rutherford make very good contact. That's his second boundary. Edges it, and Guru Singh drops it. That will reach the boundary at third man, and there are no excuses for that missed chance, and Lienege must be very, very disappointed. A pretty straightforward chance there to Guru Singh at second slip of an outside edge from Rutherford, and he was nowhere near collecting it. In fact, having hit his hand, it rolled over to the boundary. It was travelling quickly, but the catch should have been taken. So Rutherford riding his luck, but playing some good cricket. Lienege into him, and this time he swings him. Oh, Champaka Ramanayaka may have held on to that one, but he couldn't. Short and in the air as he went for the hook shot. Ramanayaka was there at fine leg. He made a desperate attempt, may have got a hand to it as the ball slows down towards the boundary area, but that's maybe another spilled chance of successive deliveries from Dulip Lienege. Anguish for the bowler, waiting to take his second wicket. Ramanayaka. Into Jones, wrapped on the pad, allowed appeal. Umpire Katie Francis not interested. That may have missed the leg stump. Ramanayaka has 1 wicket and is bowling quite well. And may have edged that one. Yes, he has. Gamini Vikramasinghe picks up. That's his second victim and the second wicket for Champaka Ramanayaka. New Zealand are 4 wickets down for 160, and Jones once again not profiting. So he has 49 runs in this game. He made 35 in the first innings, and that was a pretty straightforward edge, playing it away from the body and giving a slight edge through to the wicketkeeper. Made no mistake with that one. Good bowling by Ramanayaka. Moved that ball away from the right-hander, and Jones was playing well away from his body. So Justin Vaughan promoted in the batting order. And Lienege bowls a bouncer to him. Saw the line of that one and left it alone, taking the bat away at the last moment, but a pretty good delivery too from Dulip Lienege to the new batsman. Vaughan made 18 in the first innings. That was lifting just outside his off stump. Chandika Hatru Singh. Pulled away by Ken Rutherford quite comfortably. There's no fielder there at fine leg. 4 runs. And the next ball lofted away over long on. Maybe 6. Yes, it is. Just clearing the boundary. And that soggy outfield. The ball has not moved since landing. Umpire Katie Francis signal 6. That's the first 6 of the New Zealand second innings. And Rutherford in full cry. Arjun Ransunga into him. Bowls outside the off stump. Rutherford now on 23. Next ball driven firmly past Ranatunga. That'll be 4. In the air, but straight down to long off. Very powerfully struck. And Rutherford looking for quick runs. Ranatunga into him. Bowls and off the back foot square cuts, and that'll be 4. Past Don Anusari, back foot of point, and picking up his 5th boundary. Rutherford on the offensive now, and the Sri Lankan bowlers can do very little. Ranatunga on that occasion dropping it short and outside the line of off stump, and Rutherford very quickly into position. He got the meat of the bat to that one, and the ball was just shooting past Don Anusari. He had nothing to do about cutting that one off, and perfect positioning and placement. So good batting by Ken Rutherford. He's a batsman in full cry, having made 2 half centuries and a century in the last 3 test innings. Academic interest in the match at this stage. The next ball on driven firmly wide of the fielder Chandika Hathurusingha. That will be 4 more, and Ranatunga coming in for some stick, and that's the 3rd boundary of consecutive deliveries for Ken Rutherford, and he moves up to 41 with that very powerfully struck boundary on the onside of the wicket. Ranatunga coming in late into the attack, but put into a lot of stick. So here's Jananda Varnavira, bowled tightly but not without success. The next ball hit away over mid wicket. That should clear the fence. We'll wait for the umpire's decision. Yes, it has, and that's Rutherford's 50, coming up in just 90 minutes of batting of 61 deliveries. Rutherford had hit 9 boundaries and 2 sixers so far. So in 4 innings he has passed the 50 mark on 4 occasions, and Jananda Varnavira pitching that one up to Ken Rutherford, full stretch, and it was very sweetly timed. Batsman in prime form, Varnavira into him. He shuffles and wrapped on the pad, and umpire gives him out, LBW. That's the 2nd LBW decision in the New Zealand innings, and Varnavira is delighted, having taken the 1st wicket of the 2nd New Zealand inning. So Rutherford, the man out. In the 1st innings he had 2 wickets, so that's some justification for some very, very consistent bowling by Jananda Varnavira. He bowled very tight. That occasion the batsman shuffled, wrapped on the front pad, and Chris Harris, the new batsman, in. He was sick and did not take the field, but out there to join Justin Vaughan. So 2 left-handers at the wickets. Varnavira diving and keeping it quite tight. Harris, who made his maiden half-century in the 1st innings, put on a century partnership with Ken Rutherford, coming in the 2nd innings at the fall of Rutherford's wicket. New Zealand 194 for 5. The next ball, good delivery, turned away sharply and lifted outside the left-hander's off stump, and he was very lucky not to have got a touch and got away with it. Very well collected there by Gamini Wickramasinghe behind the wickets, but his keeping has not been up to required standards. Varnavira into Harris, up to the wicket balls and comfortably played forward. And here's Hashan Tilakaratne introduced into the attack. The formality of completing the overs, balls well outside the line of the off stump, punched away into cover. Muralidharan substituting there for Roshan Mahanama, who is not well. Justin Vaughan, the batsman. The next ball turned away from the left-hander, so that's a pretty useful delivery. Hashan Tilakaratne does bowl around for his club, and that is the closer of the play in the 1st test, with New Zealand on 195 for 5, 23 extras. Top score coming from Ken Rutherford once again to finish top scorer of the match in each inning for New Zealand. Hartland made his 1st half-century, but Rutherford's late flourish brought some respectability to the total. Ramanayaka had 2 for 27, bowled well. Lenige very unlucky, none for 48. Hathurusingha 10 overs for 22, his first 5 overs maidens, but Anurusari bowled well. 26 overs, 2 for 32, well supported by Varnavira. 25 overs, 1 for 31, and 15 of it were maidens. So Vaughan and Chris Harris must be very glad that they have to come back to the pavilion, and it's an honourable draw for New Zealand, who played very well indeed, I thought, under the circumstances, and will be looking for a much improved performance coming into the rest of the series. Sri Lanka's chances of making an impact in this game withered away with the time lost, but also with some very poor catching, especially closer to the wicket, and that has been the downfall for Sri Lanka.